In the last chapter, Frederick managed to arrive safely in Milan, and he started to regain his footing in society with the assistance of a few acquaintances. He hasn't yet found Catherine, but he did find sympathy, understanding, and compassion from everyone he's encountered so far upon his return from the front lines as a civilian deserter. My name is Trisha Sulpizio, and I'm your host for Tea and Bedtime Stories. In this episode, we'll continue reading Ernest Hemingway's novel, A Farewell to Arms. Last time we read and discussed chapter 33 of book 4. We will continue the story with chapter 34. After the reading, I'll follow up, as always, with quick facts and my impressions. In civilian clothes, I felt a masquerader. I had been in uniform a long time, and I missed the feeling of being held by your clothes. The trousers felt very floppy. I had bought a ticket at Milan for Stresa. I had also bought a new hat. I could not wear Sim's hat, but his clothes were fine. They smelled of tobacco, and as I sat in the compartment and looked out the window, the new hat felt very new, and the clothes very old. I felt myself as sad as the wet Lombard country that was outside through the window. There were some aviators in the compartment who did not think much of me. They avoided looking at me and were very scornful of a civilian my age. I did not feel insulted. In the old days, I would have insulted them and picked a fight. They got off at Gallarate, and I was glad to be alone. I had the paper, but I didn't read it because I didn't want to read about the war. I was going to forget the war. I made a separate piece. I felt damn lonely and was glad when the train got to Stresa. At the station, I had expected to see the porters from the hotels, but there was no one. The season had been over a long time, and no one met the train. I got down from the train with my bag, and it was Sim's bag and very light to carry, being empty except for 2 shirts, and stood under the roof of the station in the rain while the train went on. I found a man in the station and asked if he knew what hotels were open. The Grand Hotel in Deal Baromis was open, and several small hotels that stayed open all year. I started in the rain for the aisle Baromis, carrying my bag. I saw a carriage coming down the street and signaled to the driver. It was better to arrive in a carriage. We drove up to the carriage entrance of the big hotel, and the concierge came out with an umbrella and was very polite. I took a good room. It was very big and light and looked out on the lake. The clouds were down over the lake, but it would be beautiful with the sunlight. I was expecting my wife, I said. There was a big double bed, a letto matrimoniale, with a satin coverlet. The hotel was very luxurious. I went down the long halls, down the wide stairs, through the rooms to the bar. I knew the barman and sat on a high stool and ate salted almonds and potato chips. The martini felt cool and clean. What are you doing here in Borghese? The barman asked after I had mixed a second martini. I'm on leave. Convalescing leave. There's no one here. I don't know why they keep the hotel open. Have you been fishing? I've caught some beautiful pieces. Trolling this time of year, you catch some beautiful pieces. Did you ever get the tobacco I sent? Yes, didn't you get my card? I laughed. I'd not been able to get the tobacco. It was American pipe tobacco that he wanted, but my relatives had stopped sending it, or it was being held up. Anyway, it never came. I'll get some somewhere, I said. Tell me, have you seen 2 English girls in the town? They came here day before yesterday. They're not at the hotel. They're nurses. I have seen 2 nurses. Wait a minute, I will find out where they are. One of them is my wife, I said. I have come to meet her. The other is my wife. I'm not joking. Pardon my stupid joke, he said. I did not understand. He went away and was gone quite a little while. I ate olives, salted almonds, and potato chips, and looked at myself in civilian clothes in the mirror behind the bar. The bartender came back. They're at the little hotel near the station, he said. How about some sandwiches? I'll ring for some. You understand there is nothing here now that there are no people. Isn't there really anyone at all? Yes, there are a few people. The sandwiches came and I ate 3 and drank a couple more martinis. I'd never tasted anything so cool and clean. They made me feel civilized. I had had too much red wine, bread, cheese, bad coffee, and grappa. I sat on the high stool before the pleasant mahogany, the brass and the mirrors, and did not think at all. The barman asked me some question. Don't talk about the war, I asked. I said the war was long way away. Maybe there wasn't any war. There was no war here. Then I realized it was over for me. But I did not have the feeling that it was really over. I had the feeling of a boy who thinks of what is happening at a certain hour at the schoolhouse from which he has played truant. Catherine and Helen Ferguson were at supper when I came to their hotel. Standing in the hallway, I saw them at table. Catherine's face was away from me, and I saw the line of her hair, and her neck, and her lovely neck and shoulders. Ferguson was talking. She stopped when I came in. My God, she said. Hello, I said. Why, it's you, Catherine said. Her face lighted up. She looked too happy to believe it. I kissed her. Catherine blushed, and I sat down at the table. You're a fine mess, Ferguson said. What are you doing here? Have you eaten? No. The girl who was serving the meal came in, and I told her to bring a plate for me. Catherine looked at me all the time, her eyes happy. What are you doing in mufti? Ferguson asked. I'm in the cabinet. You're in some mess. Cheer up, Fergie. Cheer up just a little. I'm not cheered by seeing you. I know the mess you've gotten this girl into. You're no cheerful sight to me. Catherine smiled at me and touched me with her foot under the table. No one got me in a mess, Fergie. I get in my own messes. I can't stand him, Ferguson said. He's done nothing but ruin you with the sneaking Italian tricks. Americans are worse than Italians. The Scotch are such immoral people, Catherine said. I don't mean that. I mean his Italian sneakiness. Am I sneaky, Fergie? You are. You're worse than sneaky. You're like a snake. A snake with an Italian uniform with a cape around your neck. I haven't got an Italian uniform now. That's just another example of your sneakiness. You had a love affair all summer and you got this girl with child, and I suppose you'll sneak off. I smiled at Catherine and she smiled at me. We'll both sneak off, she said. You're two of the same thing, Ferguson said. I'm ashamed of you, Catherine Barkley. You have no shame and no honor, and you're sneaky as he is. Don't, Fergie, Catherine said and patted her hand. Don't denounce me. You know we like each other. Take your hand away, Ferguson said. Her face was red. If you had any shame, it would be different. But you're God knows how many months gone with child, and you think it's a joke. And you're all smiles because your seducers come back. You've no shame and no feelings. She began to cry. Catherine went over and put her arm around her as she stood comforting Ferguson. I could see no change in her figure. I don't care, Ferguson sobbed. I think it's dreadful. There, Fergie, Catherine comforted her. I'll be ashamed. Don't cry, Fergie. Don't cry, old Fergie. I'm not crying, Ferguson sobbed. I'm not crying except for the awful thing you've gotten into. She looked at me. I hate you, she said. She can't make me not hate you. You dirty, sneaking American Italian. Her eyes and nose were red with crying. Catherine smiled at me. Don't you smile at him with your arm around me. You're unreasonable, Fergie. I know it, Ferguson sobbed. You mustn't mind me. Either of you. I'm so upset. I'm not reasonable. I know it. I want you both to be happy. We're happy, Catherine said. You're sweet, Fergie. Ferguson cried again. I don't want you happy the way you are. Why don't you get married? You haven't got another wife, have you? No, I said. Catherine laughed. It's nothing to laugh about, Ferguson said. Plenty of them have other wives. We'll be married, Fergie, Catherine said, if it will please you. Not to please me. You should want to be married. We've been very busy. Yes, I know. Busy making babies. I thought she was going to cry again, but she went into bitterness and said, I suppose you'll go off with him now, tonight? Yes, Catherine said, if he wants me. What about me? Are you afraid to stay here alone? Yes, I am. Then I'll stay with you. No, go on with him. Go with him right away. I'm sick of seeing both of you. We'd better finish dinner. No, go right away. Fergie, be reasonable. I say get out right away. Go away, both of you. Let's go then, I said. I was sick of Fergie. You do want to go. You see, you want to leave me, even to eat dinner alone. I've always wanted to go to the Italian lakes, and this is how it is. Oh, she sobbed and then looked at Catherine and choked. We'll stay till after dinner, Catherine said, and I'll not leave you alone if you want me to stay. I won't leave you alone, Fergie. No, I want you to go. I want you to go. She wiped her eyes. I'm so unreasonable. Please don't mind me. The girl who served the meal had been upset by all the crying. Now she was brought in the next course. She seemed relieved that things were better. That night at the hotel, in our room with the big long empty hall outside and our shoes outside the door, a thick carpet on the floor of the room, outside the windows, the rain falling, and in the room light and pleasant and cheerful, then the light out and it exciting with smooth sheets and the bed comfortable, feeling that we had come home, feeling no longer alone, waking in the night to find the other one there and not gone away. All other things were unreal. We slept when we were tired, and if we woke, the other one woke too. So one was not alone. Often a man wishes to be alone, and a girl wishes to be alone too, and if they love each other, they are jealous of that in each other. But I can truly say we never felt that. We could feel alone when we were together, alone against the other. It has only happened to me like that once. I have been alone while I was with many girls, and that is the way you can be most lonely. But we were never lonely and never afraid when we were together. I know that the night is not the same as the day, and that all things are different. That the things in the night cannot be explained in the day, because they do not then exist. And the night can be a dreadful time for lonely people once their loneliness has started. But with Catherine, there was almost no difference in the night, except that it was an even better time. If people bring so much courage to this world, the world has to kill them to break them. So of course it kills them. The world breaks everyone, and afterward many are strong at the broken places. But those that will not break, it kills. It kills the very good and the very gentle and the very brave impartially. If you're none of these, you can be sure it will kill you too, but there will be no special hurry. I remember waking in the morning. Catherine was asleep. The sunlight was coming in through the window. The rain had stopped, and I stepped out of bed and across the floor to the window. Down below were the gardens, bare now, but beautifully regular. The gravel paths, the trees, the stone wall by the lake, and the lake in the sunlight with the mountains beyond. I stood at the window looking out, and when I turned away, I saw Catherine was awake and watching me. How are you, darling? She said. Isn't it a lovely day? How do you feel? I feel very well. We had a lovely night. Do you want breakfast? She wanted breakfast. So did I, and we had it in the bed. The November sunlight coming in the window and the breakfast tray across my lap. Don't you want the paper? You always wanted the paper in the hospital. No, I said, I don't want the paper now. Was it so bad that you don't want even to read about it? I don't want to read about it. I wish I'd been there with you so I would know about it too. I'll tell you about it if I ever get it straight in my head. But won't they arrest you if they catch you out of uniform? They'll probably shoot me. Then we'll not stay here. We'll get out of the country. I'd thought something of that. We'll get out. Darling, you shouldn't take silly chances. Tell me, how did you come from Mestre to Milan? I came on the train. I was in uniform then. Weren't you in danger then? Not much. I had an old order of movement. I fixed the dates on it in Mestre. Darling, you're liable to be arrested here any time. I won't have it. It's silly to do something like that. Where would we be if they took you off? Let's not think about it. I'm tired of thinking about it. What would you do if they came to arrest you? Shoot them. You see how silly you are. I won't let you go out of the hotel until we leave here. Where are we going to go? Please don't be that way, darling. We'll go wherever you say. But please, find some place to go right away. Switzerland is down the lake. We can go there. That will be lovely. It was clouding over outside, and the lake was darkening. I wish we did not always have to live like criminals, I said. Darling, don't be that way. You haven't lived like a criminal very long, and we never live like criminals. We're going to have a fine time. I feel like a criminal. I've deserted the army. Darling, please be sensible. It's not deserting from the army. It's only the Italian army. I laughed. You're a fine girl. Let's get back into bed. I feel fine in bed. A little while later, Catherine said, You don't feel like a criminal, do you? No, I said, not when I'm with you. You're such a silly boy, she said. But I'll look after you. Isn't it splendid, darling, that I don't have any morning sickness? It's grand. You don't appreciate what a fine wife you have. You don't appreciate what a fine wife you have, but I don't care. I'll get you someplace where they can't arrest you, and then we'll have a lovely time. Let's go there right away. We will, darling. I'll go any place anytime you wish. Let's not think about anything. All right. And that concludes the end of chapter 34. Okay, now a few quick facts and my impressions. When he was talking about Gallarate, where they got off, it's a small town, about 54,000 people, I guess, northeast of Milano. So it's about halfway between Milan and Stresa, where he's going. The Grand Hotel de Ils Borromeis, it's a very grand hotel in Stresa, Italy. It was built in like 1863, and it sits right on the bank of that Lago Maggiore. It was, I guess, expanded twice, the portico in 1908, and then they added like 3 floors in 1912 to the structure, and again, it sits right on the bank and overlooks the Borromeis Island in the middle, that kind of sits in the middle of the lake. And so that's why it's called De Il Borromeis. But it's for sure a grand hotel. He was not kidding when he said it's better to arrive in a carriage. If you look at it, pictures of it online, it's crazy. And he's definitely paints a picture of its grandeur in his descriptions. It's kind of, I would guess, neoclassical. There's not a lot on it, but it's got like a dome and bell tower, and it's very formidable. Anyway, it's probably very expensive too, I'm guessing. A letto matrimoniale, when he used that phrase that just translates to double bed in English, but in Italian it literally means marriage bed. Borghese can be a colloquialism for middle class. The word bourgeois, which means middle class. So I'm not sure what the bartender was, if he was dissing on him, or when he was saying, why are you in a Borghese? It's kind of a weird thing to say. And he didn't reveal any context, so I have no idea what that means. But I'm guessing he's questioning why he's there, because it's a really expensive hotel, and maybe he knows that he doesn't have a lot of money and it's off season. So I don't know. I don't know what that was about. But anyway, convalescing leave is granted when you're recuperating from an injury. So he's partially lying about what's happening to him. When she said, why are you in Mufti? She's talking about basically she's asking why he's in civilian clothes, when Ferguson asked when they saw him at the restaurant, at their hotel. But we don't use that word anymore. It has negative connotations, so it's considered a derogatory term, and would be really inappropriate to use today in polite conversation. Instead, you would just call them civvies, like, why are you in civvies? She was basically, could tell, like, something had happened for him to be out of uniform. And so she was giving him a hard time. But those are all the quick facts I have for this chapter. My impressions, I like how the Italians name stuff. It's kind of funny, but it's so direct, and to me, it seems like right? When they name the large lake Largo Maggiore, and the Grand Hotel, like across from the island, like, it just makes sense. In the United States, we have stupid names for things. Like the Houston Astros Stadium used to be called Enron Field. I don't know if you know anything about recent American history, but Enron was a giant corporation. It was formed in the mid-'80s, somehow became the 7th largest publicly traded company in the United States at that time. In the 2000s, they went bankrupt. Turns out that the top executives were drawing huge salaries and hiding their debt on their books. So they were accused of committing fraud. Some of them were convicted. One of them died. But basically, it's over 2,500 employees all lost their pensions, their jobs, their salaries. All the investors they all lost billions collectively, basically. And it's just stupid that we name things after businesses. They're dumb names, first of all. And then businesses should not be given that much place. You shouldn't be able to buy status, in my opinion, anyway. I just like the way the Italians do it. It's kind of funny, because everything kind of sounds really highbrow if you don't know Italian. And then when it translates, it's like, it's just a big lake. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Okay, this chapter also, I think, kind of makes Henry look a little bit like a poser in his former life. Like, he's pretending to be someone that he's not, as usual. So he's kind of back to his old tricks. Again, I don't know what the bartender, when he was calling him a Borghese, if he was calling him that, or if he was talking about a particular place. I don't know if that's what their nickname for that. That didn't make any sense to me. But anyway, I'm sure it wasn't obvious to anyone else. If it was obvious to you, I'd love to hear what you have to say. But there's no way he had the money nor the time off to stay there regularly enough to know that bartender very well, unless they went fishing together. I don't know. There was no context given for their relationship. But usually for you to know a bartender fairly well like that, where you're exchanging gifts and talking fishing stories, like, You've spent some time with them. And from what we know, Henry hasn't been in Italy very long. He's only been up there once or twice. So I don't know what that is all about, to be honest with you. I have a feeling that Hemingway, the author, was taking some liberty with the story since it is fictional. But regarding Henry's finances, things just don't add up. But it does create or reinforce this fantasy that Fred was wealthy. And I guess that would make him seem more, somehow, his family more accomplished and make him seem more attractive to the audience. And I guess if he's going to be the hero of this fake story, why not make him rich? But it feels a little like a cheap shot. I don't know. It can also be a way of removing the obstacle of reality, right? Because he needs money in order to escape with her, right? If he was broke and in the same situation, it would be a very different story. It'd be gritty, and it'd be more like Thelma and Louise or Bonnie and Clyde or something, not very romantic. But popular stories that inject these unrealistic narratives seem, harmless, but they can really damage our belief systems about relationships. I call it the Disney princess syndrome, because we all grew up watching Disney princess movies where, the perfect man for you, perfect age, perfect demographic, perfect skin, everything just pops out of nowhere, catches you in your best moment, falls madly in love with you, and you live happily ever after. It's complete and total nonsense. But we've all been indoctrinated, so we all buy into it. And it really warps our sensibility when it comes to real life relationships. And so, again, I guess that's why I'm nitpicking about him pretending that this character is rich, because it's just not grounded in reality. But these stories become ubiquitous, and they kind of set this really unrealistic standard where we judge life unfairly and end up kind of being collectively delusional. And I don't know, not to harp on it, but I don't like those subversive messages. It feels like pandering to the audience. And a lot of people miss it too. They don't even notice these subversive messages. They just think it's cute. And we have to examine the hidden assumptions and values that those assumptions support in stories like this, because it does drive a particular worldview. Anyway, I'm preaching now. Okay. It's just, I feel like I'm being patronized. I'd be curious to think if you feel the same way by a lot of modern stories or romantic stories. They're mostly BS. And I don't know. It's annoying. I'm railing against people shoving their beliefs down my throat while I'm shoving mine down yours. I'll stop. Anyway, what the hell is the deal with Mrs. Ferguson? Why is she acting like a psycho over their relationship? I get that that's her friend, but she sounds like a jealous lover, and it's really weirding me out, because I think maybe she was friends with Catherine. I thought she was friends with Henry first before Catherine even showed up there. Maybe I'm thinking of a different person. But it's just weird that she's acting like Catherine's mom and being really controlling. And people don't understand that control and cooperation are on opposite ends of the same spectrum, right? People control because they don't think they're going to get cooperation, so they try to force people to do what they want. And the more you try to control a situation, the less people are going to cooperate because you're not giving them a chance to cooperate. You're forcing the issue. And it's like this weird, stupid, vicious cycle. It's like, well, I have to control because they're not cooperating. Well, they're not cooperating because you're being controlling. Like, how do you not get that? But I don't know. Again, I'm starting to preach. People are dumb. But she just seems weird and controlling, and I don't understand it. And Catherine is looking like a complete pushover to put up with that crap. And Frederick, too, looks too young to deal with grown-up problems, and he looks really impotent just listening to her, like, cut him up like that in front of his future wife and child or whatever. I don't know. I wouldn't put up with that. But it does, again, show, like, the age difference, the maturity level between him and Catherine. And I don't know. It's kind of funny that the author includes a mention of the waitress being uncomfortable about the fighting too, because I think he's trying to add credibility to Henry's lack of response to her. Like, it just made Ferguson look like she was throwing a tantrum and they were all tolerating it. But the whole scene he describes there just seems really farcical, and I don't know. It's killing the vibe for me. It was a little extreme. But his description later in the chapter where he's talking about the connection that he feels with Catherine is really sweet. It also seems really naive considering his age and lack of life experience. How he was talking about spending time together and how they never feel like they want to be apart. It's cute. But it's reminiscent of, adolescent romantic thinking. Like, Hemingway wrote this novel in his mid-20s, and so the character's thoughts and feelings appear to be rooted and grounded in that adolescent mindset, fantastical thinking. And those types of connections are super powerful when we're young, and experiencing love, real love for the first, infatuation, whatever you want to call it, for the first time. Really connecting with somebody on a soul level is so deep and profound. But relationships look totally different, and they feel totally different when you're a grown-up and you have responsibilities and you come together with somebody as an autonomous adult. You don't get caught up in the same way. And I think it's really interesting how Hemingway was able to transcribe and articulate those feelings so well in such a short stanza or whatever, a few paragraphs. Basically, he was able to describe, that state of mind of being young and in love. And I don't know, I'm starting to wonder if he was able to carry that same innocence into his other characterizations of romantic relationships in his later works. Or if his understanding of, as he aged, if his understanding of relationships aged with him. It would be really cool if he continued to age, I don't know, but could still transport himself into the mind frame of an adolescent in love. Or if that meant that he is has some kind of arrested development, and even in his later years saw all relationships through that same lens. I don't know. It's kind of interesting to think about. Either way, I find it fascinating. But that's all I have for Chapter 34 of Book 4. In the next episode, we'll pick up where we left off with Chapter 35 of A Farewell to Arms by Ernest Hemingway. Please join me again for more Team Bedtime Stories. I look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks for listening.